the last important poet, or the last important figure within the tradition of Judo-Persian poetry and literature, whose name is Siman Tov Melamed. He was born sometime during the 18th century or late 18th century in Yazd, in the city of Yazd, the community of Yazd in southern Iran. And later he moved to the city, to the Jewish community of Mashhad to the north, and then he migrated to Afghanistan. His major work is known as Hayat al-Ruh, or Hayat al-Ruh, the life of the spirit, which is a philosophical commentary on the Jewish texts, philosophical texts of Jewish philosophers of Spain between 11th and 13th century. He too wrote both prose and poetry. He also composed lots of short poems. But what is important for us is that basically with the death of Siman Tov Melamed, in many ways, this long tradition of Judo-Persian literature, in which poetry played a major role, comes to an end. So we can sum up or summarize and say that this tradition that started evidently sometime before the time of Shahin in the 14th century, continued and continued without disruption for 600 or 700 years, and it ended sometime during the early years of the 20th century, among other reasons, because of the processes of modernization and Persian education to which the Iranian Jews were exposed, and as a result of which they slowly abandoned the traditional lines of literature that were so central to the identity and to the creativity of the Iranian Jews for a period of almost 1,000 years. I would conclude by referring to a few sources for those who are interested to learn more about Jewish or Judo-Persian literature. In Persian and Hebrew, I would strongly recommend the works of the late Professor Amnon Netzer. He has written numerous articles, and he was, but I refer to him still because of his importance, that he's still alive, and his contribution is beyond measure. His works are both in Hebrew, Persian, and English. For those who want to consult his works in Hebrew, I would strongly recommend his book that is a description, that is a catalog of the Jewish Persian writings in the Ben Tzvi Institute in Jerusalem. It's called The Treasure of the Judo-Persian Manuscripts at the Ben Tzvi Institute of Jerusalem. It's in Hebrew. His Persian work is called selected, in Persian it's called Montakhab Ash'ar Farsi as Asar Yahudiyan Iran, which is selected, a selection of Judo-Persian poets by the Judo-Persian poets of Iran. It was published in Iran and is available for those who are interested for learning more about Judo-Persian poets and Judo-Persian literature. It's available in Persian. The third source in English, that is an anthology of Judo-Persian literature and Judo-Persian poetry, is by Professor Vera Morin. Her last name is Morin, Moreen. The name of her book is In Esther's Garden, an anthology of Judo-Persian literature. It was published in English about 15 years ago, and it provides translated samples of works by different Judo-Persian poets and writers. And here I conclude.